On the show today, Susan tells us that we need to break our rules. We cover the symbol of numbers 4 to 6. And as always, we take your calls and interpret the dreams you sent in during the week. Welcome to So You Think You're Awake with Michael Sheridan, Heidi Brooke and Susan Pullen. Our show is about dreams, guidance and healing, and our phone number is 425-373-5527. If you have a dream-related question, you want to connect with your guides for advice, or you can call with questions for Susan about healing and changing old life patterns. Once again, the number is 425-373-5527. And thank you to everybody who sent their dreams to RadioShow at dream-analysis.com. Please continue to send them in. They're absolutely the lifeblood of the show. Welcome back, Heidi.
Thank you.
So we want callers for Heidi today. We want her to have to hit the ground running.
I did. I got off the plane straight into school and back to work and readings and everything. So I'm still running.
All right. And of course, Eric's back from holidays too. Welcome back, Eric.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
So we're going to talk about breaking your own rules.
Yes.
And this is just fresh off the press, the ink isn't dry.
That's right. That's right. It just went up on my blog this morning.
Okay.
So.
And your blog is true-radiance.com.
Yes.
That you don't promote anywhere unless I say, do you have a blog, Susan?
Yes.
Okay, so what we're going to look at is we looked at some of the numbers last week, and Susan said, stop at 4 because I want to do something with 4 this week, and that's what your article's about.
Yes.
Exactly. So we've saved a dream with a box for them because that's also the number 4. So 4 indicates limitation. For example, catching the number 4 bus would indicate the dreamer is limiting their life journey through their actions or thoughts. A box or square also indicates limitation. The number is very common in dreams and is usually linked with other numbers. A choice between the 23 and 24 bus to Parnell Square reminds you that you have a choice between committing, which is 3, to keeping balance, which is 2, in your life, or limiting, which is 4, that balance, which is the second 2. The rest of the dream indicates where the balance is required. 5 is another male number. Now, we did some male numbers last week, 1 being the first one. So 5 is another male number and indicates sensuality, as we have 5 human senses. It is very common in dreams as it also indicates the karmic path, and that is such an important topic for dreams. It symbolizes the karmic path because your karma is where you learn about your life lessons through the 5 senses. 6 is another female number and indicates Dharma, Christ consciousness, grace, love, forgiveness and compassion. In dreams, it is a request to go beyond the 5 senses and karma and develop compassion within yourself. In the example earlier, and this was from last week, we talked about getting a job for $600,000 in the music industry. It tells the dreamer that the channeling, which is music, is the way off the karmic path and onto the dharmic path for that dreamer. So that seems a lot quicker than last week, but that's good because we've lots to do. We've loads of dreams.
And if you have a dream with a number in it that you're wondering about, you can call us at 425-373-5527.
And it was good. We got some numbers last week. It did prompt it.
Yeah.
So the first dream we're looking at today is from Sandra. And she says lots of stuff at the start about how she fell asleep on the couch. Okay. I dreamed that I got up. So in her dream, she dreamt that she got up and the TV was on. The Talk was on, and I don't know that show, but it's obviously a talk show. And Sarah Gilbert was speaking. She was Darlene in Roseanne. I had to look that up. The amount of things I learned from Googling what people say in dreams. So Sarah Gilbert straight away would say that the dreamer is a channel because she's an actress. So it's going to be about the dreamer's channeling ability. And the TV then will tell us that she's a clairvoyant channel. That's how it works. Very, very simple. She did not look her usual self. This is back to the dream. And was anchoring the show for Julie Chan. I was still wondering what time it was and figured if the Talk was on, it was between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. So all these times are in a dream. So 2 is a number for channeling and 3 is about commitment. So we had 3 last week. So it's asking her, the dream is already asking her to commit to channeling. And it is anyway, even because Sarah Gilbert is there and the TV is on. Anyway, back to the dream. She says, I was lying on the couch and looked up over my shoulder outside the window behind me and could see that the sun was shining as though it was midday. So the window tells us then that she also has a psychic ability or a strong intuition, and she can use that too. There's a little bit more, but I'm going to skip it. It was a bit confusing that the talk would be on as it seemed to be around lunchtime. Now, if this dream seems confusing, that's the intention of this dream. It wants to bring confusion up. So I clicked to see the TV guide, very important TV guide. So this is telling her how she's going to get connection from her guides. It's through the TV. I clicked to see the TV guide on the screen to look at the time, and it showed 6:29. So we have 6 telling us that this is the way off the karmic path for her, and 2, of course, is about the channeling again, and 9 says this is your last necessary lifetime if you do this, if you pursue this path. I took another good look outside as the time did not fit with the sun shining, especially not at this time of the year. Nothing seemed to be out of the ordinary, so I checked again and then time on the TV, and it showed 12:29. So again, we have the numbers. It's saying it's your individual path to channel. So everybody does things a little bit differently. So your channeling is going to be a bit different from everybody else. It's not like you're the same as every other clairvoyant. The way you get the information is still a mix of who you are and the information that's coming. So how you help people, how you communicate with other people is going to be still very much you. This time made no sense at all, and I began to realize that I might still be sleeping because I disconnected my satellite dish from the TV a few months ago since we streamed TV shows and movies off the internet. Then I woke up to realize it was dark outside and 8:01 p.m. So we ignored the time in reality. But so the confusion in the dream is saying that the dreamer is confused about what her life path is or confused about how to channel. That's the whole point of that, to bring that feeling that she has about these abilities into the dream. And so it does it that way. And the sense of being late and the time being wrong is a very karmic thing to see in dreams. Although this isn't there isn't too much karma in this one. Normally you find yourself late for doing something, like you realize I should have done this at 5 o'clock and it is now 7. That's sort of late. Whereas here, she just is all confused. So the dream is saying you've got to work on this, make the channeling connection, and that's going to get you onto the dharmic path. And it's okay that you're confused about this. So what else have I said in here? Okay, disconnecting the satellite, or waking up in the dream, realizing that, hey, I must be in a dream. That's huge in a dream, especially this type. So the same way in the dream where you get this sense of, wait, there's more to this reality than I realize. It's trying to get you to have that in waking life. And that, of course, is what you'll get when you start channeling. Wants you to question reality, really. But that's about it. Heidi, do you get anything else on that? I saw you nodding.
I'm just in agreement. I don't know. I did get something on the. I think I was picking up that she can already see spirits, but she's questioning what she's seeing. I think like a lot of us when we're clairvoyant, when we do see things, we see like orbs of light and things like that, and we go, oh, that's just my eye playing tricks on me and stuff. And but anyway, somebody was jumping in. I assume her guides were saying, well, she can already see us, and I think the confusion lies in there and keeping that connection as well.
Lies in that she questions what she's seeing
as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Sandra. So stop it. Right. So, and I must say, Heidi, you brought every illness under the sun back with you to Seattle.
I know, chicken pox and everything.
Not you,
my daughter.
but all your children are sick, and now Sandy's ill. And she took time off yesterday, and she was at home, and she says, I need to go to bed, but I have to mop the floor. This is what she will do when she gets extra time off. And I said, no, don't bother mopping the floor till you get back up. No, I didn't. I let her mop the floor. No, I didn't do that either. But she won't go to bed. She's terrible. Okay, so Nadia's dream. She says, stop laughing, you make me laugh. I'm floating on my back in the water and looking up at a full moon. As I could make a joke about that, but I won't. As I am floating, a male orca swims next to me. I roll over and climb onto his back. So, okay, the moon straight away tells us that the dreamer has a strong intuition, a strong psychic connection. So she gets a sense about things, a feeling. And I think she's well aware of this. And she's also aware she's a channel, which is what the orca represents. Whales represent that in dreams. And quite often in dreams, they're orcas. Dolphins, whales, and orcas are all air-breathing mammals like us, but they live in the ocean. The ocean represents the spirit world in dreams. So it symbolizes an ability to go to the spirit world and, of course, communicate. So they're quite often, though, black and white, because when we have fears about this or we see things in a black and white way, and even if we don't have a fear necessarily, but we think it should be done a particular way, we haven't quite hit our niche in it or our method. So you maybe comparing yourself to other people or whatever. But that's why the black and white shows up here. So it still shows a little bit to go. And this dreamer actually has lots of black and white showing up in dreams, always when they're about channeling. I roll over, climb onto his back. That's okay. When I'm on his back, I see that there is a baby orca whale swimming with us as well. Excellent. So it shows it's your responsibility to develop this. That's what babies symbolize in dreams. We had that a few weeks ago. And it also shows here that you've got an ability to nurture this further. So if you think you can channel now, you can actually take this a lot further, which is always great to know. We swim together and end up in a very large lake. And actually, that's another symbol for channeling. Because the orcas are guides in the dream, swimming with them or flying with a guide also says you're a channel. But the lake says that you limit this ability. Now, you say it's a very large lake, and of course that's better than a swimming pool or whatever. But it's still saying that you need to create a bigger outlet, a more natural outlet for this in your waking life. We swim in a circular motion, first doing 3 laps, which is why I picked this dream. So we have 3, which is saying to do commitment, or to commit to doing this. And circular is both about goals and your heart. And channeling requires both male and female energy, so we see frequently enough both male and females showing up in dreams about that, or energy anyways. So counterclockwise around the lake, and then doing 4 laps in a clockwise direction around the lake. The orca swims to the centre of the lake, and I get off of him and continue floating and looking up at the moon. The 2 whales then swim away, so we have the 2 again, which is about channeling. So what is this about the lake? Of course, you're swimming around the 4 laps going clockwise. You end up back where you started from. So it's saying that you need to do something that's going to make you do something different with your channeling. And I don't know what it is. Maybe Heidi, you've got something on that. I love it when I drop Heidi in it.
I can come up with something. No, I'm listening. I'm not hearing anything right now. But
that's it. So she probably already knows, and her guides probably already have made it clear to her. And I can relate to that. I think everybody can. Even when you know what your ability is and what you're meant to do in your life, it doesn't mean all the doors fling open for you. Sometimes they do, but not all of them. And you still have a struggle. And we kind of are like, if I'm already doing what I'm meant to be doing, then why isn't this working? And it could be that you're trying to include something else that you shouldn't include, or which I think I would go with for this dreamer. But it's sometimes the actual pushing ourselves and really claiming it and struggling to get to the point to where it is a success is really a much more defining for us, much more important.
Yeah, for her, they're saying she's to offer it as a service, and she hasn't done that yet.
Okay, very good. And that's probably because you've filled your roster with other stuff. So free
Make
readings,
it a priority.
Free readings on Nadia. What's her number, anybody? Okay, so let's have a look at another one. I had a dream a few days ago. I went to a store near my old house. Heidi, you've already given me information on this one. I went to a store near my old house I hadn't visited since many years. I was there to buy a gift for myself and my birthday, which is strange because I don't like gifts. Who doesn't like gifts? This is from a fake listener. And I definitely don't like to celebrate my birthday. Oh my gosh. The shopkeeper, I've known him since I was a kid. He was showing me things I might like, and there were many people in the shop, and also a boy I had a crush on, standing there in a corner. I don't remember the rest of the dream, but the next day I learned that the shopkeeper had passed away. I was so freaked out, I didn't know what to say because I never thought about that man, and one night I dream about him, and the next day he is dead. I hope she doesn't dream about me tonight. So I will tell you what you said, since you have had a holiday in between. You said the dream is to bring the dreamer towards awakening. The gift of foresight cannot be rejected without the self being rejected. The shopkeeper was a guide in reality and chose to come to the earth plane. So is this dreamer a guide, though she has been asleep for far too long. Her angels say it is time for her to wake up. So let's go back and have a look at the dream. So being offered a gift in a dream, that is the calling card of a guide. That's the classic calling card. So the shopkeeper, even though they're a guide because they have the title, the shopkeeper, hands the gift. So they have 2 things that they do in the dream that says they're a guide. But they're saying that you've a gift that you have yet to unwrap or use. But yeah, so he was a guide in reality. And then Heidi's big message to you is, so are you. So that's quite nice to find out. And then you have the ability of, you said foresight.
That's what the guide said. I remember doing that now. I actually went into a trance channel to do that because I did that while I was on vacation.
Did you?
Yes.
Excellent. So you were working.
I was working. Much more relaxed.
So it's good to know you're a guide, but it's also a bit of a poison chalice because it means you've, or can it seem that way, because it means you've something big to do. Or bigger than you think.
I think that's the fear a lot of people have. But sometimes, a lot of guides come to choose to come down to the earth plane just to raise the vibration, just by existing. So it doesn't mean you always have a huge mission on your hands that's solely left up to you.
So it's like you're saying there are some guides that are looking down and saying, okay, we're all going to come down, but that's my couch.
Yeah.
You can do
Why
the
not?
work. You can do the work, and I will just help you by being here.
And it's amazing what moves out of the way to allow these guides to come down and take bodily form. We on the earth plane and whoever orchestrates it makes this happen. It's a huge gift to have people just exist.
Yeah.
Guides just exist on the earth plane.
Yeah. And of course, what they're doing is a lot of them are here just, like you said, for the energy change, but to make sure that it happens.
Yeah.
Because there's enough of that energy then in the physical environment. And it has happened. And, a lot of people are like, so I've done a lot of dreams for people over the years where it's like, we're not telling you what your ability is, but this is your ability. Sorry, we tell you what your ability is, but we're not going to tell you what you're going to do with it. But you will know when the time is right. And a lot of people recently have contacted me and said, I now know what it is and the time is right. So something has happened in the last few months, which is interesting. So I'm looking at the time, and I'm also looking at Susan, who's just nodding in agreement with everything and not talking. We'll get you back after the break. We're going to take a break now. Back with you in a moment. Hi, I'm Michael Sheridan, and I'm here to tell you about my new book. In 1990, I had a spontaneous awakening, and the veil between the physical world and the spirit world was lifted for me. I didn't believe in the spirit world, but that no longer mattered. I was looking at it. My new sight didn't give me answers, but it opened my mind enough to begin asking questions. It would ultimately lead me to discover that the spirit world is always involved in everything we do. My book reveals what I learned about the spirit world as I stumbled through my journey, and is titled My Journey to Awakening, and is now available on Amazon for Kindle and in paperback. My Journey to Awakening by Michael Sheridan.
Hello, this is Heidi. How can I help you?
You tell me. You're the psychic.
That's not how it works. I am a medium. I connect to your spirit guides and loved ones and pass on their messages to you.
So why did I call? Use the force, Heidi.
Look, I can get answers to any questions you ask. That's not a problem. They can be about anything: relationships, career, children, finances, anything.
Anything? Okay. What's my favorite color?
Dave, your mom says you're being childish.
For readings with Heidi, go to angelsontheline.com.
How clear is your vision for your life? Are you living on purpose, bringing your dreams to reality? I can help you to hear the quiet voice of your heart, guiding you in the right direction. I'm Susan Pullen with True Radiance Healing Arts. Let's talk about how you can create the life you want and be the person you were born to be. Contact me today at true-radiance.com.
Stay informed with news, traffic, and weather at the top of the hour, weekdays on Alternative Talk, 1150 a.m.
Welcome back to So You Think You're Awake with Michael Sheridan, Heidi Brooke, and Susan Pullen. Our show's about dreams, guidance, and healing. And our phone number is 425-373-5527. Once again, 425-373-5527. I think Heidi has a block on the callers today.
That's usually you.
So, Susan, you are going to talk about feeling boxed in and time to break your own rules.
Yeah, and this, it's inspired by the number 4. I feel like we're on Sesame Street.
I keep thinking that too.
And the colour purple.
Yeah.
And I was glad we're doing number 4 because that's what my preschooler is doing.
Oh.
So I'm very fresh with it.
Perfect.
You can draw them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so You wanted to do, so the symbols, which is why we did 4, and we did the 4 laps around the lake saying this is limiting you because you're stuck in the lake. You need to do something different. And you wanted a dream with a box. So you helped us by providing a dream with a box.
Yes.
So let's have a look at this dream. It's called the 6-chambered heart, and we did 6 as well. Excellent.
Yes. See how I did that? 2 in 1.
That's very good. I'm with a group of people, and we are playing a game. Actually, so beforehand, I'm going to say, this is like, we've had this type of dream on the show a number of times. We should collect them really and show how similar dreams can be in the theme. So this dream is about having multiple lifetimes where you're accumulating something over your lifetimes. And that accumulation then gets you past the point of needing to be on the earth plane. So that's what this dream is about. Anyway, I'm with a group of people and we are playing a game. We go into the game with an objective. If you die, then you have to come out of the game and go back in. It takes some time when you come out of the game and also some time to catch up to where you were once you get back in. I'm shown an image of a heart, the 6-chambered heart. I see 6 little boxes connected together in 2 columns of 3 rows. I am working on the last box, the 6th. When you complete a level, you then put a little object in the box to show you finished it. I think maybe I die, or at any rate, I have to come out of the game. I have to go through a little narrow tunnel in order to get back in. I recognize a few people, Irina, Rachel, and someone else I can't think of now. I go to meet up with them again. Our group has been playing the whole game, all the levels together. It's easier that way for some reason, though we aren't all necessarily on the same level at this point, because some people take longer to finish a level than others. Okay, so really good dream, and it shows that you're past needing to be on the earth plane, but you're here just to grace us with your wonderful presence. What's coming next? She's afraid to accept the compliment. Okay, the boxes here, that's really the thing you wanted to get onto. Boxes represent limitation. They also represent birth. I'm never going to say in America why, because I did that in my first class here, and there was a deafening silence, and then a wind picked up and tumbleweeds rolled by, and then some crickets laughed.
So use your imagination. I have the medical degree.
In Ireland, it works absolutely. There's a question boys going through puberty would ask about, that's equivalent to getting to first base on your date, but we use the word box, and let's put it that way. So boxes are about birth, but they're also limitation. So it's about a birth is a limitation. You're curious now, are you?
No, Eric is putting his head in his hands.
It's just not used here.
There's a reason, obviously.
So the box represents limitation because each time we come down, we limit ourselves. And we deliberately limit ourselves so that we leave some of the issues that we have behind, and we take some of the positive things that we have, some of the traits we've worked on that we no longer have issues with, and then some of the negative things that we do need to work on. And that limiting ourselves allows us then to focus on the work at hand and not be swamped by taking on too much. So the box, yes, still means limitation, but it's a positive limitation. And you're wondering all the way in, how is it a positive limitation, were you? No?
Well, that makes sense to me. I mean, as you were talking, I was thinking about like Project Runway or something like that, where sometimes in creative work, limiting your options actually frees up your imagination and helps you really get deeper into something. So it makes sense to me that we would limit in order to really deepen our growth and our focus in a particular area.
And of course, you get that thing at the end of each lifetime and put it in the box. So you're accumulating all these things. And the other reason we limit ourselves is it's like playing poker. We don't want to risk all the chips we already have in our hands. Mm-hmm. So by doing it the way it's done, if you mess up in one lifetime, then you can, you haven't risked everything. You don't go backwards in terms of awareness. At least you only go a little bit backwards, and then you can stay at a lower level on the astral plane, have another lifetime, and then regain what you lost, and then improve beyond that. And Heidi's very quiet here. You want to chip anything in there, Tal?
No, I was just thinking.
So she's thinking into the microphone. What else is in here? 6, of course, is going beyond the 5 senses, go beyond what you can learn on the earth plane. But then a lot of people come down when they've got particular abilities. and use the abilities that they have that are actually beyond the five senses. Now, your special ability is helping people clear their karma or shuffle their karma around.
Yes.
And this is something that you don't say on your website, and you have a big issue with saying, even though you do it.
Yes. I'm
You're on the spot. The mic's going.
I am, yeah.
You have
I am.
to speak.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome. Anytime. But you get me all the time. You go, oh, what's that thing in the dream that you skipped there, Michael? What's the bloody eye represent, Michael? So you're okay. So you were. So anyway, I like this because
I can see the karma, especially like if I'm working on, if someone comes to me and they have a relationship with someone, like we're working on cutting the ties or something, I can see the karma between the people, and there isn't always anything I can do with it, but sometimes I can teach people things that will allow a shift there. Yeah.
I think you're being modest, because I've seen 2 of your dreams that talk about your ability to do it, and in one of them it was very explicit. The karma was indicated by numbers above somebody's head,
yeah,
and you were able to move the numbers around. So the numbers were still all there, but you were able to move something out of the way that might have been too much for them to take on right now, and then they could work on something else. So you can do that too. Do you do that too, Susan? That's a confident yes laugh.
Yes.
Okay, so you were talking about feeling boxed. Have I accumulated karma on the show just now? So you're talking about feeling boxed in. Time to break your own rules. Oh, we have a caller. Sorry. Apologies. We have April on the line. Hello, April.
Hello. Hi.
How are you doing? Have you got a dream or a question? Oh, a dream question.
I have 3 dream-related questions, I guess. I hope that's okay. The first question I have is for sharks. I've dreamt of sharks before, and then I have people tell me about their dreams, and they dream of sharks, and I never know if that's just like some morphed version of a dolphin or like they're turning. What is a shark? I'm not gonna.
A shark can be a number of things. Like we had a caller recently dreamt of a shark on the beach with long, thin teeth, and it was about the dreamer's approach to being a parent or parenting. You know, so it can be different. It's going to be about a fear with regard to something. So the something is much more important than what the shark represents. Quite often they will be about fears with regard to people who also do what you do. Like there's sharks in the water. They're going to make it difficult for me to, succeed at what I'm trying to do. They're there to take me out. That will be a very common meaning for sharks. And I would imagine, without seeing one of your dreams, yours is going to be about something like that. We know from dreams you've sent in before, and I actually have one of them in the pod today, that you're a channel, and you do it in a kind of a strange way. You can sort of separate and have kind of like 2 minds going on, and one mind is doing the connection and the other one is like your conscious mind. So you can almost like have a conversation with yourself, and it's kind of a unique way I've seen it. And I'm looking at Heidi to see if she's going to get anything else for you here. I'll see if I can shuffle through and find that dream. But it's one where you're, actually I can remember enough of it. You're listening to this radio show, in fact, and you've called into it, but you're in Seattle, but listening to yourself calling in from Ohio. Do you remember that one? So
yeah,
anyway,
yes, I do.
So it's about that sense of separation that you have when you make a connection. Can you relate to that, by the way?
Absolutely. I don't know. Yeah, I definitely do.
Okay, very good. All right. So sharks for other people anyway are going to be different. It can be different for everybody, because the more important thing is what else is the dream about. And some people have a fear of sharks. Most people. Some people don't. So it depends on the person. But their teeth are a big thing. So parenting can be can definitely be one of the reasons for sharks. So what was your other question?
Last night I had a dream that I had free tickets to Ireland, and Ireland shows up a lot, but I didn't know what free tickets.
So 3 is about commitment, and you've
free as in
free.
It didn't. They were
no.
Free
Okay. So have you ever been to Ireland?
Yeah. Yes.
You have. Okay.
Yes.
That's right. You lived there for a year. And so what went on for you when you were in Ireland? What was the predominant feeling? Did you feel like it was a great time in your life. You were very free to do anything you want, and so on. You tell me.
It was challenging. I think that the symbol that you have for Ireland in your book is the same for me. It was a challenging time today.
Well, Ireland represented conflict for a long time, and it still kind of does, because you have Ireland is divided, the north and south. There's lots of troubles between, or was lots of trouble between. They call it trouble. Anywhere else they call it terrorism. So it anyway symbolizes this conflict. And if that was going on for you when you were, or going on when you were in Ireland all that time ago, then yes, it can still mean that for you. But there's a lot less problems there. So Ireland can actually be about resolution of conflict, and probably would be that in your dream. So the conflict's still there, but resolution of it really is the thing.
To put on the free ticket.
Yeah. And
free yourself from it.
Yeah, and the fact that they're free is really good. So it's showing you that this is part of your journey, resolving conflict, whatever the conflict is. Now, it's nothing about Ireland. So whatever conflict is going on for you right now, working through that conflict and resolving it is part of what you're meant to do. It's on your ticket.
Okay.
So do you have another short one?
A short one. My partner gave me cream-colored pants and tops. And they were kind of like jerseys, like I guess you'd wear it, 40 clothes. It was a gift. He gave me a gift.
Okay. Well, cream is about tolerance and acceptance. So it means that your partner is helping you with tolerance and acceptance, but not necessarily tolerance and acceptance of your partner. It's probably a tolerance and acceptance that goes back further, like maybe with mom or something.
Right.
So you look and see which parent do you have the issues with, and I know you've cut the ties. And part of when you finish cutting the ties, part of the whole deal is that you then let the person be who they are. And for a lot of us, I can definitely relate to this one. Until I cut the ties, I was very controlling, and of course, you don't see that in yourself. You don't see you're controlling when you're controlling, because you're looking through the tinted glasses at everybody else. But when you deal with cutting the ties, when you've done it, you then realize, okay, this is them and this is me. But then you have to take that extra step of allowing them be who they are. So not trying to change them anymore. So you'll probably find that your partner does things that makes you feel like, oh, I've got to change that. But really look to something else, to where this all came from. And does that make sense for you? It does.
And that's really wonderful. So I guess, and I can see that I've learned a lot during my relationship, so that's great. But I guess then, so do you have any more on the dream then that you have prepared about the show? Is there more to it than? No,
it was really just to get to the point of realizing how your channeling works, that you have, your way of doing it is quite different. It's like you have two threads of thought going on in your mind. So you could feel like this is a bit crazy, but I haven't seen it show up that way in dreams before. But I think it really is that you've got enough of a connection with your higher self that you can almost pick those thoughts up. But it's that distinction that your head you probably feel lightheaded when you're in that space. But it's a very natural thing for you to do. So maybe the lightheadedness won't show up, but it would for others who were doing this. But just to realize that that's how it works, because I know for you, I've said to you, you're a channel so many times, and I know Heidi has given you readings too, and she said the same thing, and you question it a lot. So I think the dream was just trying to show, look, this is how it feels like for you. That you definitely have the ability, and this is how it shows up. So if I come to it in the pile later on and I see any other notes, I will say. But I'm pretty sure that's going to be it.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for the call.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks, April.
So, Susan, time to break our rules.
Yeah. So the box dream that you gave, the box in that dream is it's not a negative kind of limit.
No, it's a deliberate limitation taken on to help you achieve something positive.
But oftentimes in a dream, when a box shows up or a 4, then it's about ways that we're limiting ourselves.
Absolutely, and it's nearly always negative. It's saying, look, your choices limit you. Choices between the head and the heart is quite often the way it's going to be in dreams. So here, like, you've had many dreams where they're saying, limit yourself. They still say limit yourself.
Mm-hmm.
but all in positive ways. And they don't have the number 4 because it's positive.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the gluten-free menu dream
Yes.
that we talked about.
And cars being stolen out of the car park and
right.
many other things. A truck that won't take all the boxes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, so you don't have the 4s because 4, I've never seen 4 not be a limitation. But some limitations are good. I mean, a negative limitation. Something we're doing that our dream wants us to stop.
Yeah, yeah. And so I've heard you say this for actually some years now, but I just kind of put it together in my mind in a different way for me a couple of weeks ago, I guess, thinking about how we limit ourselves didn't totally click, or I couldn't totally make sense of that until I realized I was doing a meditation actually and asked about it, and then I totally got it, because I remembered some years ago when I was in my creativity coach training, I was supposed to be working on a new jewelry collection, but in fact I wasn't really working on it. I was just giving myself a bad time for not working on it.
Yes.
And I couldn't come up with a single thing to make, or as soon as I'd come up with something, I'd rule it out. And I realized that I had all these rules for myself. And I think this is what you're getting at with how we limit ourselves, right? We have a lot of rules for ourselves, is another way of thinking of it.
Yes, but the rules, we pick them up in childhood a lot of the time, or society's rules. You go to a Muslim country, they're going to have a completely different set of rules than we have.
Right.
Go to China, it'll be different again, and so society imposes rules on us that very much shapes us. So a lot of the time we do this deliberately to ourselves, because if we can break free of those rules in this lifetime, then we gain a lot of awareness from doing that.
Right, right. And families, like you said, families have different rules too.
Yes.
Within the same culture.
Yeah, and I've met a lot of counselors over my time, because I'm so messed up. No, because of the work I do. And some of them have amazingly fast shortcut ways of getting to the nub of issues. And one of the best ones I've seen, she asks you to describe your mom and describe your dad. The family, then your mom and your dad, and then she'll do it with both partners. And then she will be able to say, okay, that mix of dysfunctions in the parents and the mix of dysfunctions in the other parents will lead to exactly these dysfunctions in your marriage. And she's right on the money with the stuff. It's just fantastic. And it's all sets of rules. Like somebody might have a rule of don't tell secrets outside the home.
Yeah.
And another one could be don't keep secrets, and they're so different. But when you're raised in a particular way, it really shapes you way beyond what you think.
Yeah. Yep. And so a lot of, I just want to name a few other rules to help people kind of get in the zone with us. But things like, if you can't do it perfectly, don't do it at all. Or you can't call yourself an expert in something unless you have a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And that comes up in dreams a lot, so I mentioned that. Don't upset other people. Don't get angry. Or I know we talked about in some of the past shows about how families have different rules about taboo emotions and things like that. So
yeah.
So we all grow up with these rules. We take them on, and as we live and as we get hurt, then we adopt more rules because we don't want to get hurt again. So, but we can box ourselves in. We can get to the point where we feel like we don't have any choices, because even as soon as an option might come up for us, we unconsciously even rule it out. So we feel like we have no choice. We're totally boxed in.
But we're the ones that have done it.
Right.
And the good thing about that is when you're the one who's done it, you can get out of that.
You can undo it. Exactly. Yeah. Right. So I've got this on the blog too, trueradiance.com. But what I would suggest, this is what I did. Make a list of the rules that you have for yourself, and then go through them and see which ones do you want to keep for yourself and which ones are you ready to let go of or to break. And for me, it was easier to start with smaller rules. Like I had a rule about not writing in books. Like books were sacred and they were not to be written in.
That's a rule people try to impose on you.
Else.
I always dog ear books. I turn the leaf
Oh,
over.
no,
where
I couldn't do that.
a number of people who chastise
Next
me, and
on
it's
your
like,
list.
hang on,
Yeah.
I bought this book.
Yeah. So I started with that because it was low stakes, right? So I started writing in the margin, and I started with underlining, and then I moved into writing in the margin.
Some people, their books sell for a lot of money. The books that they bought and wrote in
marked
sell
up.
for a lot of money. Yeah,
Yeah,
Why
you
is
could be
that?
one of. If a famous person wrote in the margins of a book, that
Oh.
book has significantly huge value.
Well, my estate is going to be tremendously
It's
valuable.
going to be used in court. Exhibit A, Your Honour. In the margin, she wrote. It was a
Still
precursor
useful.
to all this calamity.
No, but it's tremendously liberating to start to break your own rules. Or like another little rule I had that I started breaking was like wearing matching socks. It's just a little thing, but
What?
it just
How could you do that?
wear matching
still
socks or
struggle with
socks that
that.
don't match.
There's a basket full of socks that don't match that are just not being used. In
Yeah,
my house.
yeah.
That's where they'll stay till I find their matching pair.
We found one of Heidi's hot buttons.
Yeah, so you can see, even these little things get to us, and the big things really get to us. So just even bringing awareness to the things that we have rules about helps us get free of them and open it up for
But
us.
start with the easy ones is a good one, and dreams are the same. If you try to start with a big one, you'll fail, and then you'll punish yourself with one of your other rules about, well, shouldn't have started it if you can't complete it. So you start with an easy one, and then it gets easier, I presume.
Yeah, because then you figure out, oh, actually, this is all made up, and so I can make up something different.
All right, very good.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right, thank you for that. Very interesting. So we're going to take another break. Back with you in a moment.
How clear is your vision for your life? Are you living on purpose, bringing your dreams to reality? I can help you to hear the quiet voice of your heart, guiding you in the right direction. I'm Susan Pullen with True Radiance Healing Arts. Let's talk about how you can create the life you want and be the person you were born to be. Contact me today at true-radiance.com.
Hello, this is Heidi. How can I help you?
You tell me. You're the psychic.
That's not how it works. I am a medium. I connect to your spirit guides and loved ones and pass on their messages to you.
So why did I call? Use the force, Heidi.
Look, I can get answers to any questions you ask. That's not a problem. They can be about anything: relationships, career, children, finances, anything.
Anything? Okay. What's my favorite color?
Dave, your mom says you're being childish.
For readings with Heidi, go to angelsontheline.com. Hi, I'm Michael Sheridan, and I'm here to tell you about my new book. In 1990, I had a spontaneous awakening, and the veil between the physical world and the spirit world was lifted for me. I didn't believe in the spirit world, but that no longer mattered. I was looking at it. My new sight didn't give me answers, but it opened my mind enough to begin asking questions. It would ultimately lead me to discover that the spirit world is always involved in everything we do. My book reveals what I learned about the spirit world as I stumbled through my journey, and is titled My Journey to Awakening, and is now available on Amazon for Kindle and in paperback. My Journey to Awakening by Michael Sheridan.
News, traffic, and weather? Now you can get your information fix weekdays on Alternative Talk, 1150 a.m.
Welcome back to So You Think You're Awake with Michael Sheridan, Heidi Brooke and Susan Pullen. Our show's about dreams, guidance and healing. And our phone number is 425-373-5527. You still have a chance to get in. Once again, 425-373-5527. If you have a dream-related question, or you want to connect with your guides for advice through Heidi, or you can call with questions for Susan about healing and changing old patterns in your life. Okay, so I'm just looking through the deck real quick, pun intended, to find a dream with the number 5. So here's a dream. She says, I dreamed I spotted a 5-deck shoe on a blackjack table. I watched as what I knew to be a spirit shuffled them and put them in the shoe. I walked up to the table, taking the ghost dealer's spot, and picked up a stack of 2 decks that were set off to the left outside of the shoe. I began shuffling them by hand, but quickly realised that I had 1 red deck and 1 blue deck, so I stopped and tried to separate them so that the colours weren't all mixed up. And she has a comment here saying, I had a night job as a blackjack dealer in college, but I don't gamble. So, and that's always important to give us a comment, let us know on that. So there is a difference here. Did anybody spot it? A ghost is stealing the deck. So that didn't happen in college. So we can still look at this. So the dreamer had in her mind, are we dealt cards randomly by fate, or is spirit involved? And this question says spirit is involved, or the dream says spirit is involved. Spirit controls the deck that you're handed, but it's karma because it's a 5 deck shoe. Now she said that it is actually normally a 5 deck shoe anyway, but so that's good. So it answers the question straight away, and then she goes up to take the place of where the ghost is. So her question is probably, can I control my own fate? And the answer really is no. Your life path is already set, but it's watched over by spirit. So you can control it in a sense by embracing it and engaging in things that you know you need to do, so that your life goes the way it needs to go, and you get what you need. But also realize that you yourself set this life in motion while in spirit. So you're also part of the spirit world that shuffled the deck in the first place. So a lot of the time people say, well, it seems kind of ridiculous that I'm here and I'm stuck and having to do all these things. But realize that we took on this limitation, we took on the limiting body and the life lessons that we have in this body because it's going to help us improve ourselves. But we're the ones that did it. We chose it. We made the decisions. And a lot of the time your guides are really just up there saying, you have said to them, look, if I start to deviate, close down these avenues that are the wrong path for me and, get me back onto the right path. So we've given them the permission, more so than giving them permission. We've asked them to make sure that we don't go the wrong way. So it's not like we're pawns in the game here. Any questions on this one? I mean, I did this one with the dreamer offline. The 2, the red and the blue deck. Okay, so it's asking her to add passion, which is red, to her philosophy of life, which is blue. So be very positive about things. Okay, that's it. Anything else in here? Nope, I'm skipping it. So I want to include this one because of your dream, Susan, about the fact that we can live multiple lifetimes. And this one is about being born, which is really good. And I had another one as well. We could have had a show on just that. So 2 real quick dreams from the same dreamer. In the dream, I'm an astronaut and I'm preparing for a re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. So this is coming in to be born. I'm not in a shuttle or capsule, but instead I'm in my astronaut suit and I'm supposed to line up with this awesome water slide that guides me back to the planet's surface. I find it with no problem and start my descent. But while I'm on it, I realize that it's very steep and I'm thinking it would be way easier on my body if the slide were not as steep and was more gradual. Nevertheless, the ride was exciting. I woke up before I reached the ground. So it's about coming into the earth plane. And I'll move on to the next one really quickly. Another short one. First, I was driving a car and I was all alone, but my sister was following me in her car, and this dreamer's a twin, in her car, and we came upon this tunnel that somehow went straight down into the ground. Oh, I wonder what that is. I started down it, but I found that it was very steep, and then it started going straight down. It scared me, so I backed up and told her we have to find another route. The next thing I know, I'm a passenger in a different car, and Taylor Swift is driving. We're singing along to her songs on the radio. Okay, so really interesting here. Taylor Swift says you're a channel. So the 2 dreams, because they're in quick succession, are about you came to the earth plane to be a channel, and she is a channel. She does channeling for other people, but she's one of those people who say, now, do you channel? Do you work at this? She goes, oh, yes, I do. I see clients. How many a month? 4 on a good month, because she packs her agenda.
Because she limits it.
Yes, thank you. So how did she bring it with her? So the second dream where it's very steep and she goes back up and says, we have to find a different way. She did. She was born, they were both born by cesarean section. And we can see that in the dream here because they don't go the normal route. They don't take the slide all the way to the end or the tunnel all the way to the end. And that one works for me as well. I've had that in many dreams too, because I was born by cesarean section. But cesarean section is, and the difficulty, not the cesarean section itself, but the difficulty in the womb, the, brush with death or whatever it is that caused you to have to be born by cesarean section. That trauma is one of the ways that people bring particular abilities with them.
And the detachment from the mother that is inevitable if they're born by cesarean.
Yes.
Because the first 3 minutes in the baby's life is hugely critical to be attached with the mother. They're getting better about it nowadays. But that detachment as well keeps people in the spirit world.
Connected with the spirit world.
Yes, connected with the spirit world, sorry.
So it's, absolutely. And that's one thing, knowing that is a huge thing. So we fought for that. We didn't know this when my first 2 kids were born. So Heidi, you were in that category. But the next 2, we knew about it. So we pushed and argued with the doctors so that my ex could hold the child after he and she were born for at least 20 minutes. And it's a huge bonding thing, very, very huge bonding thing. And then you insisted on that with your kids too.
And my second was born 2 months premature too, so they really didn't want me to hold him, but I did.
Wasn't that
They said they've never done it like that before.
Yeah, they said his skin will be overly sensitive or something like that, and so touching him would aggravate him enormously.
But I had a really good doctor that just kept telling me, I'm the employer, they're the employees.
Very good. But it's a really important thing. So, and our dreams show that. Our dreams bring us back to birth so often to show that our philosophy of life is very much set right at the very early ages. And because our philosophy of life is set then, so too is what's going to take us off the planet, believe it or not. So let's have a look at another one. In my dream, this is an interesting one. I'm getting married, but I'm in a cave surrounded by lions everywhere, and I go somehow, everywhere I go somehow. I make it onto this big stone, into the open, but the lions followed me. The thing is that they're not lions, they're griffins, and they're not going to hurt me. Then in the dream, I learn that before they turn into griffins, they were lions with a house kitty demeanour. And there I am at the end of the dream. I'm at the altar and I'm standing there waiting for my groom. And the next thing I know is this big griffin flies over the crowd. It's so beautiful that I cry and my groom jumps off and the griffin starts spraying something, and it's small griffins and everybody gets one and they change to whatever you want them to be. I wake up. This should teach me to rewrite Facebook posts. People frequently, write shorthand for various different things. And I'm not very good at that. Anyway, at least not when I'm trying to read it on the air. So this is about the dreamer is a spiritual leader and teacher, and that's what the lions represent. They're the king of the beasts. But it essentially means that she has very strong spiritual leadership qualities. Spirituality has nothing to do with religion and is more about what is at your core being. The lion is the king of the beasts and the eagle is the king of the birds. The lion alone would tell us that you're a spiritual leader, but the two combined, along with the fact that it flies, push this to a higher level than usual. And the eagle also says that the dreamer has a prophetic ability. And of course, the groom flying with the guide says that you've got an ability to channel, which is a big thing in this dream too. So you're a guide, you're a prophetic, and you're a teacher. All from this tiny little dream. Really, really good. Weddings quite often are prominent in dreams about channeling, by the way. And I'm looking at the time and realizing we have 2 minutes. Okay, so let's find a short one.
Well, Michael, if you remember, you asked me to say a symbol. Well, a very short dream I had last night. I was at my graduation, but it was full of females. It was only women. And they were all wearing purple robes with purple caps. And I was very conscious, in Ireland, you only wear a cap if you're a woman. Not if you're a male, it's to represent the cap on the female's education. But anyway, and they all had purple hair, and the person in front of them, they were all brushing the person in front of them, their hair.
So really, really good dream. I was going to joke and say, I was kidding telling me that one. It's really bad. But we don't have time. So it's really good. It's about your spiritual leadership ability. And brushing the hair, getting your hair done in the dream is also fantastic. It's about changing how you think. So it's saying that your leadership, what you're doing now, is already changing how you think. And not only that, it's changing how other people think, because everybody is affecting everybody else in this dream, affecting how they think. So there's a knock-on effect in the work that you do that reaches other people as well. And then the female is all about, the graduation is all really good, but the purple and the purple cap is fine because the the crown chakra is purple. So that's what that's going to represent. So all leadership there and you moving to a next level. So we expect lots of good things about your channeling good change.
And spiritual leadership, that can also be teaching, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. But not like teaching a class. I mean, you can teach a different type of class, but it's very personal, one-to-one, helping people get from where they are to where they need to be. Involves an open and compassionate heart, lots of listening. And to get to that space, you have to have done a lot of work on yourself. So that's why the graduation in that dream is there. It takes a lot of work, years, to get to the point where you can do that. So we are out of time now. So I want to say thank you to our producer and engineer, Eric Ryder. Thank you to Heidi for flying back and being here for the show. Thank you to Susan.
Thank you.
For getting past the burning bush at the end of your road. And we're going to leave you with this quote. And it's from Susan Pullen. Creating, along with most of life, requires some experimentation, and that means being willing to risk making something that bombs.